Hello everybody! My name is Megan Strimmer and today I am putting up a video for Amtgard and how to make a okay sword. It'll work. Today I'll be doing a short sword which is able to be used for stabs and slashes. It's between 18 inches and 36 inches. At least 2/3 of its length must be strike legal, so it must be padded, and allows for 1/3 of its length to be substituted for heavy padding. I'm not going to be doing heavy padding, I'm just going to be doing strike legal, and that's hopefully what we're going to be using. All melee weapons require a rigid core unless otherwise noted and may be used to block, parry, or score hits with their strike legal portions. Some melee weapons allow for heavy padding substitutions for a given length. For example, a 48-inch long weapon is typically required to have 32 inches of strike legal, followed by a 16-inch of handle. Using heavy padding substitution, you can have 16 inches of heavy padding, followed by 16 inches of courtesy padding, and then a 16-inch handle. That's not necessarily something that you absolutely need to know, but sometimes it helps. And heavy padding added needs to start with 3 inches of stabbing tip, which basically means when you get stabbed, it's not going to hurt super badly. I'm going to go back up and read off what needs to be known for cores and stuff, so weapon definitions. The core. This refers to the base of the weapon to which padding is affixed. For melee weapon cores, the best things to use are carbon/graphite rods, such as a form of non-metallic golf clubs, which is what we'll be using today. Kite spar, bamboo, PVC tubing, or fiberglass. Other materials will be checked for safety on a case-by-case basis by your champion or regent, which I'm champion. Hi, hello. For the Park of Silver Riders anyway. And metal and wooden cores are not legal. Metal can be used as a counterweight, but that's a mess. Save yourself the time and don't do that. Make your life simple. Please, I beg of you, make your Reeves' life simple. The ends of all weapons and cores must be blunted by capping them with a layer of foam and tape at a minimum. And for throwing weapons, an acceptable option is denim, loose rubber bands, sweatshirt material, or similar things. Handles refers to the unpadded part of the weapon, where it's often held. Pommel, this refers to the padded portion of the weapon at the end of the handle, not intended for striking. The end of the pommel must have at least a 2-inch cross-section perpendicular to the handle and must be padded. So, it can't hit you in the eyeball. It would stop on your skull. You do one of these things with your hand, and then if it doesn't pass through there, and it is able to fully stop without going through your fingers, you should be good. That is one of the things that you'll see a lot of champions or regents do to check it. Crossguard. That's something that I won't be doing on the sword today, but I'm going to read it off just in case you guys want to. This refers to an optional piece as the juncture of the blade and handle designed to deflect blows. You can use it to deflect a bow too, I guess. Protect the hand from injury. Cross guards must be padded and all tips must have at least 2 inches of cross-section parallel to the handle. Double-ended, which is not something that we're going to worry about today, but if you want, feel free to pause it and check that out. We also have portions of the stabbing tip. This refers to the end of the weapon that's not the pommel. Regardless of whether or not it's used to stab, stabbing tips must not protrude more than 1.5 inches through a 2.5-inch ring. So, don't stab people in the eyeballs. That's a bad thing. That's a real bad thing. It does not feel good. Don't do it. Nor end in an angle less than 90 degrees. End must be strike legal. You must not be able to feel core through the stabbing tip. That hurts real bad if that occurs. Trust me. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. Okay. Cool. All of that stuff is taken care of. Padded or courtesy padding. This refers to the portion of the weapon that is designed to limit injuries from incidental contact with a part of the weapon and must have at least 1/2 inch of foam over the weapon's core. A weapon is required to have courtesy padding over the entire circumference of its strike legal length. Don't just hit people with a golf club. That's rude. Have padding. It's awesome. It makes your life so much simpler and people end up with less bruises. Trust me, I've gone home with enough bruises for everyone from fighting. Let's not do that. Strike legal. This refers to the portions of the weapon that are sufficiently padded to prevent injury when used to strike an opponent at full force. These portions may not break bones, teeth, or regularly leave bruises when it strikes a person, and must have at least 2.5 cross-section from edge to edge. Strike-legal surfaces must have at least 1 inch of foam over the weapon core, measured from the furthest point on the blade to the surface of the core. Stab-only weapons, other than projectiles, are required to have 6 inches of strike-legal surface extending from the end of the weapon down its length, on any stabbing end for safety. Strike-legal must be covered in a durable, opaque cloth unless otherwise noted. Cloth tape is not an acceptable cover. Non-striking padded surfaces within half an inch of striking surface must still be covered with a cloth cover. Make your life easy. Follow these. But today, we'll be doing all of this fun stuff over here. There's the golf clubs. I have my tape measure figured out. I have a person who wants a close to max length short sword, so I'm going to be making it a little bit short at 34 inches. The max you can have is 36. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of that wiggle room for padding, so I can have an extra 2.5 inches of padding on the tip. So I'll probably actually cut that at 32 inches. Give myself 3 inches of wiggle room, and I don't have to worry about it. Padding. For some reason, Menards didn't have the usual foam that I use. So, we're going to do 2 layers of padding. We've got these skinnier dudes, and then we have a thicker one to go around it, so we will have exactly enough padding, and we should be a fairly nice sword. I don't like being hit with cores. I prefer to make really nice swords. We have packing tape. We have a box cutter to make cutting up the foam a little bit easier. We have a little bit of a handsaw to make cutting up the golf clubs easier. And then we have scissors for using the craft foam. And craft foam is what I'm going to be using to pad the cores a little bit, so that way you don't hear that annoying rattling sound when swords swing, in case there's a little bit of wiggle room between it and the foam. And I'm going to use it to create the pommel, so that way you have a really sturdy piece, and then you don't have to worry about core coming through that, unless you're repetitively beating in your pommel, which don't do that. It's a waste of foam. Be nice to your swords. And then fabric! Fabric for sword covers! Yay! But, yes, these are all of your awesome things. I'm going to go outside and cut these all to length, and then I'll be back and get started with y'all. See you soon. Alrighty, I have now cut these down to size. There's no longer any metal on the end of them. And then I'm going to put craft foam over the tips of them. And since the person who commissioned these wanted them super light, I'm going to go ahead and take off the golf grips that are already on here and trim those down. And then we will be able to measure out foam. Okay, I'm back. I got all the handles off of them. Yes, this one made an ever-living mess, and now I have to vacuum. And that's going to take me forever because it got everywhere. I now have 2.5 inches diameter of foam all around for the pommel, and I have little bits of foam, craft foam all the way up, so that way when this goes onto there, it won't wiggle at all. And now all I have to do is place this around the sword, well, cut this to length, the desired length that I want, put it onto the length of the sword, and then I have a little piece here that will fit in to this gap, so that way we have our full padding, and it will be fantastic. And I'll come back when I get that stuck together. Alright, we now have foam-covered golf club core. All of that is solid, all of that's put together, and then I took a piece of foam, added it to the end, after covering that with craft foam. That's craft foam all the way underneath, and now it's another piece of foam. That's not going to go anywhere. I'm also going to attach this, granted squished down a bit, onto the tip, so that way, no matter what, there is no core that's going to come up through this unless you use this for like 3 years straight. And if that's the case, this surface is going to be broken down way before that tip goes. Also, depending on how many times people use it to stab. But have a decent chunk, room for you to move your hand, And yeah, I'm going to be going through adding that, and I'm going to go around this whole thing with packing tape, and then I will mention how to do a cover. Let's go. Okay, so now I have full sword finished over here, and bits of trash and whatnot everywhere from this because that's still a mess. And I've now cut out the sword cover, which is 10.5 by 36 inches because I want a little bit of overhang and I need enough to go over the tip because I'm not doing the cut out a circle and sew a circle onto the end of it. I'm just going to do a rectangle and leave it flat on the end, which is still perfectly fine. I'm just making my life slightly simple, which is something I rarely do. But I only need one of these right now. Okay, just be flipped over. That's fine. But flipping over, folding in half, also all the way down this, and then cap off one end. That's what will turn it inside out. That's what will slide over the sword. And then I believe I am doing a purple pommel on this, which this will be the purple, which continues to change colors depending on how far away my phone is from it, which is really weird. Because I don't currently have silver fabric. Otherwise, I will do the pommel portion later. But it's essentially the same thing. You don't even have to sew the pommel. All you have to do is have a square of fabric. Just regular old square. As long as it fits completely over the pommel, you'll be perfectly fine. And I'll show you guys when the sword is done. Alrighty, we have a finished sword. Ta-da! Cover sewn up on the side, sewn up on the top, fold down, athletic tape. This is a piece of a t-shirt. I also used a piece of a t-shirt inside the handle so it has a little bit more of a squishy grip because I'm one of those people that I did something to my wrists and I can't hang on to really, really thin handles, so I bulk mine up a little bit just so I have a decent amount of grip and I have a lot more control of my sword. And yeah, so now I have soft, squishy pommel. Definitely gonna pass inspections. And then nice squishy foam. It'll be nice to be hit with. Makes a real nice pop noise and doesn't hurt because I already smacked myself in the leg with it and it ain't bad. So, yeah. Let's go. Let's go have some fun. So now you guys know all of the fun, exciting, lovely things, the mess of putting together a LARP sword. Tape measure, golf clubs, woo! And I'm really lucky because I had all this floor space to do it in, but now I still have to vacuum. But yeah, I hope you all have had a wonderful, fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!